We'll see if Aether swaps off. I wouldn't be against it. That's the weird pick. If they go with Orisa, this double main tank, instead of the Roadhog, which would offer a lot more damage for them. There it is. Okay, Aether swaps off onto that Roadhog. It's going to be this Ambulance coming out from bye week here as OpTic Gaming. They've got the Orisa, Widowmaker along with the Junkrat. So the Junkrat can get a lot of damage off, get that Riptire really quickly. Bye week have to be quick in their approach here or they're going to take too much poke.
Look, at 20% ult charge already for Junkrat. You are on a timer here where as you're moving in, these Junkrat bombs are 3-4 feet. He's at 60%. This is a very smart Junkrat pick here so far, and if OpTic can just back this out, is he actually going to get tired in the first fight? He's so close right now. They do lose Sharp, though, who's on the Widow.
Yeah, Shearshoy just hit him with twice with the Fire Strike, and that's all they needed now. Shearshoy jumps in, Keller's gone, and so already 2 members gone for the side of OpTic Academy. It's going to be bye week to take the point.
It was all going so well for OpTic until it didn't. It's great that you built up your tire in 3 seconds, but if you don't live to use it, what does it matter?
So with that cleanup, they did ultimately end up losing Shearshoy, but still, they'll capture point A. Now they've got 7 minutes to capture point B. It's only going to be Shearshoy with his ultimate waifu, solving just to get his mech back.
Still not a bad position for bye week to be in here, but it is a case where you're probably going to see Keller come out with the Riptire here early on, maybe take out one and delay stuff. Although it has been a fairly rough contender so far for big Riptire plays. Junkrat hasn't been played as much. People have been playing around tire more. No, is Keller going to get blown up? Yeah, he is. You can't get the tire rolling if you're dead. A lesson well learned here for Keller as bye week moving in off the opportunity. See what they can do here.
But Sharp took down Dogman, and Dogman is the engine that keeps this quad tank rolling as Sharp finds a second kill onto Dell, so there's no more longevity for this quad tank lineup, but still through that, with the grab, they were able to pick up some crucial kills, and now they are still maintaining their presence on the point, but now, here, it starts falling apart.
They have enough presence here that they could be eating quiche on the point while they're working, but Aid says enough of that from the backline. Helped out by Ana, going to be taking down 2, and that will be bye week. Getting thrown off, but not before striking pretty deeply here. Almost 2 ticks, and while they will lose a second tick for purposes of finishing out the map, they still keep the progress.
They keep the progress indeed. It was so close to that second tick, 64.3%, but they used a lot of ultimates into that last fight. Did bye week here. OpTic Academy will have plenty to work with as Aid has come up upon that Transcendence, just 10% away now. Pulse Bomb, all of that damage soaked up now, and so they have to be careful. Minish should be at about 80% charge.
And again, they're just going to go directly into the point. Not a lot of nuance here from bye week. They're going to lose wide early on, though. The Focus Fire, much better for OpTic this time around. Roadhog going on the Smurf. He's going to bait out the power range. No, Smurf showing good control there. Doesn't use it. Keller to the back with the Dragon Blade. Got one nice double slice, but ends up getting forced out by the Roadhog. Now bye week, powered by the Coalescence, moving right back in, and they're pushing OpTic to their limits here. This is actually working out reasonable. They forced out the Transcendence, but they're still alive. They're still a good spot. Drops the hammer as Shearshoy doesn't quite get as much as he was looking for.
No, and now he's dropped down to 25 HP, getting healed up. Graviton Surge, though, it wasn't able to contribute with any damage because he was so low, so that allows Sharp to come in and get the frag onto Minish now, but they're still fighting back our bye week. They haven't secured any progress yet, any additional progress yet, but shortly they will with these cleanup kills.
They got enough there towards the end. It was Waifu cleaning up the stragglers. Smurf, one of the last people around, gonna get easily taken down, and your Waifu is the cleanup right now is what's going on here. The D.Va Korean Space Vacuum also good at removing people from the game, and this is pretty insane right now at a bye week, making the quad tank work, and normally it's not as great a cleanup. OpTic Academy just struggling to get back on the point.
Struggling indeed. Second take along with 94.2%. Keller now with the blade gets the first frag onto Shearshoy. Second one now over to Del before he gets shut down by the biotic grasp of Dogman, but Sharp will continue this out for his team. Drop down low. He doesn't have a recall now, and so he will fall.
OpTic has been fighting a losing battle for so long here, but they are starting to get more respawns to the point. Both their tanks are healthy, full, giving the tanks a taste of their own medicine. Dogman gonna fall, and OpTic Academy barely withstanding the pressure here. And by the way, can I just back this up a second, broader point of view? Can we just note that the D.Va player is named Waifu?
Yeah, played a little bit of a house waifu there on the cleanup, but it was not enough for them.
Well, you know, you can't do miracles sometimes, but bye week in a great position here. They were so close, 0.6 away from getting on the point. Now they move on forward. Cheershoy holding on to the Earth Shatter, hoping that OpTic moves in, but OpTic is taking this on the outskirts mostly. It's a double flanker that just ruined their backline, and Cheershoy is sheer out, just moving on the outskirts as they go to reset.
So now that time bank brought down to 3 minutes for bye week. They were so close to securing it on the fight just before this. 99.4% Waifu forced to reset, of course, his ultimate now as he gets his mech back. So he's not going to have that self-destruct for quite some time, but with Minish now on this Tracer, he's going to have the Pulse Bomb ready. We'll see if he can connect with anybody. Keller looking for a blade. Nice stick. They got the follow-up with the blade. Keller takes him out.
Keller there at the follow-through, and it's not really all the blade. It was Sharp who weakened them all. Everyone was so close that Sharp was just licking his lips as he went on in there. And that looks very good for OpTic. And now, bye week down to their final 2 minutes and 20 seconds.
And Minish swaps back onto that Zarya. Waifu resetting again just to get his mech now. So they just haven't been able to gain any traction whatsoever. It's 2 minutes left.
2 minutes left, and they want to power through here at the Coalescence, right? Where they want to set up in such a way that Dogman can both get healing and damage at the same time. They're moving around the left. The Coalescence going to open up here, keeping Reinhardt up in the moment. Very good health so far from bye week. But OpTic Academy also doesn't have to move in. Bye week isn't trying to get on the point right now, so a lot of that was wasted. The Coalescence doesn't really get what they're looking for, and now you see the self-destruct to the backline, forcing bye week off the point. And this is weird because normally this tank setup is able to bully. Now though, they barrier and move in. Earth Shatter knocks Vol down. Vol not gonna be able to get out before he gets defect, but the damage is being done to the backline here as Gray and Keller, and now Keller brings up the flame, but nowhere to go. The tanks clear out enough space, and this might be it for OpTic Academy's bye week on the verge of tapping, and they do.
Minute 24 left on the clock for bye week. It's finally when Shearshow was able to open up. He got that Earth Shatter onto the Diva, cleaned her up, and then from there he just started swinging once again. Beforehand, he was very tentative to let down that shield, and rightly so. But once he did, once he was able to open up, that was so much control gained onto the point by him.
I'd say the best part there of that final push too was the fact that Vol was able, or as Vol threw in the self-destruct, you saw bye week very intelligently use their positioning and back out to that side room. No one got caught. Then they came back in with the sound barrier. The order of operations there and how they handled that was really good. The Coalescence in the beginning, not as good, but at the very least, it did keep them alive. I think it was more likely that someone would have gotten poked down. There was a lot of pressure on the Reinhardt in the beginning, so I don't fault them too much on that. And hey, look, they were able to keep everyone alive, re-engaged, did the job.
So now it's bye week on the defense, and crucially, they did get it with over a minute on the clock. So if they can run OpTic into overtime, that sets up a good win condition for themselves now. But OpTic themselves on the offense, they are currently hovering over the quad tank. Well, bye week, they will be going for it on the defense.
I would say if you can't beat them, join them, but given the last two maps, I don't know if that's entirely accurate, but it's more just like, if you don't want to play in a cerebral fashion versus 4-tank, and you know they're running 4-tank, 4-tank better. Might be the theme going in here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised they're not going for something like a Widowmaker if already bye week has shown off that they want to play more of the quad tank at this point. So the Widowmaker, it's a bit more difficult to try and secure an elimination onto the beefy bodies of the tanks. Bye week just going in with a good team huddle, talking things over. We can win this team, we can.
I mean, when you really want to optimize your Moira healing, you just make a whole group where everyone is cuddling up. Good for conserving body heat, if nothing else. But OpTic Academy going, look, we think we have better mechanics. We're going to fight you mechanically man-to-man here as mirror compositions in play.
Now OpTic Academy trying to avoid any damage whatsoever. They're going to speed boost their way into the left-hand side of the point, but Sharp is caught out in the back by himself. He was almost all the way at spawn. 5 members of OpTic Academy now on the point, but still it's a 6v5 now as bye week are going in for the retake. They stopped it just before the tick came in.
OpTic has to back out here. You're already down a key part. You're down 2 people, including the Moira, okay? There's no way this ends well for you. You need to disengage. The jig is up. Please run back. Bye week goes, no, you don't get to run back. We're going to finish all of you off. We're going to build ult charge. You have messed up. And somewhere out there, I imagine Sharp is thinking, really wish I could be on Tracer right now.
And he swaps off. He's on the Tracer. He's at 37%.
Okay, so yeah, as I say, I should have looked to the upper left of my screen because I think that is what went through his mind as he is now on Tracer. Brilliant.
Yeah, they figure we beat them with up against this quad tank with just standard dive before, or even now they're throwing in that Junkrat, and why not? The Junkrat builds up so much of his ultimate really quickly up against this quad tank, who are going to be cowering in a corner together, trying to mitigate that damage. Once a nade goes through, that's going to be 20-30% charge just for him.
And again, this is where you look towards Keller, right? Once Keller gets a good angle, there's going to be a lot of people together that you can cleave. Dogman can use Coalescence early in this fight. It's going to mean the Sharp can't really make this work, and he goes on them, and off the Coalescence, the tank front line of bi-week strikes, they take down 2 easily early on, and that's going to force another reset out of OpTic, who so far is meeting their match here on Horizon.
Nearly 2 minutes burned off the clock of OpTic Academy here, not getting even a nice reset onto Vol, who has to jump into the Sea of Tranquility. That's one of the creators, right? On the moon?
I think it might be, yes. I'm not one for moon geography, but that is a place. But who knows where Horizon is relative to that.
How many Diva clones are left in that chasm?
At this point, we actually just have to censor the bodies and bodies of Divas that have thrown there and reset. But
the camera doesn't go out there. We can't show it on screen.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
OpTic, though, coming in off the right. Keller looking to build up the Riptire. And again, you don't want to fight this man-to-man. You could get outpowered by the tank. Certainly, they have to realize that bi-week has a bunch of tank ultimates up in this situation. And they're buying time, but they're also not doing anything the bi-week here as time continues to pass them by. Now they move in with the Transcendence. Pulse Bomb in from Sharp gets very little done, but Waifu gonna be taken down early on now. There's a crack in the armor here. You can start moving forward. The Riptire gets Ryan, and OpTic might have finally broken their way through this 4-tank defense.
Yeah, it took a lot of ultimates being thrown at the wall there, but finally they were able to get a kill, and then from there snowball into this, and now Sharp just making sure no one even attempts to touch the point. OpTic Academy will secure point A with 5 minutes now to secure point B.
Now bi-week a bit on the back foot, but they do have options here for this defense. Minish having grabs on Surge up. Oh, Sharp already builds a pulse bomb at Sticks. Does he get the kill? He does! Gets Reinhardt. A solo job by Sharp, and Vero's one ends up giving his life while that goes on, but the rest of OpTic trying to move forward, and they might have rushed this one here as they just roll into death. Minish was there at the on-point Graviton, and the fall-through just as deadly.
It's a little surprising that OpTic fought for the high ground in that manner. What they really could have done is just throw someone onto the point and force the tank line to actually give it up themselves and then move in with Keller to get that high ground. They don't have the most mobile composition on the side of bi-week. It's going to come down to Waifu on the Diva to try and contest once the Junkrat gets up there.
A little bit surprised we still see the Junkrat here, and Sharp goes to the well one too many times, tries to play the hero, and gets Tinnitus instead. OpTic almost comically reversing course directly, waiting for their Swedish Tracer to re-emerge.
So bi-week, still, they're stabilizing here. They're coming up on their tank ultimates now. Waifu almost with a self-destruct, but everyone else struggling behind them. OpTic Academy have a huge window here. While Dogman doesn't have his Coalescence quite yet, they're gonna have to rely upon Dell.
That's who they're looking for here, right? Where as soon as it gets spicy, you drop the beat and you go from there. They still have to be wary of the Riptire, but now they move in, they drop the beat, and it's gonna connect with Aether one, but the Roadhog. Keller doesn't get anything off the tire, and Aether, again, a deadly Roadhog flank, doing work here for bi-week. Focuses down Keller, and OpTic comes up with nada.
Yeah, OpTic having a difficult time trying to dissect this quad tank composition. It's been mini skirmishes everywhere across the point. No real singular point of interest here. It's just been an all-out brawl, and that's how bi-week really want to play this out.
Well, for bi-week, it's very clear. The longer you can delay things here, let respawns come back in, the less it's going to be good for OpTic. OpTic needs to decisively take this out, and there's a lot of meat on the bone here. What can you say? Minish has the Graviton Surge up for this next fight. We do have the swap to Reaper, but to open this up, it's going to have to come from Sharp.
Yeah, Sharp, once again with that pulse bomb, but he's taking the battle up against the tank now. Coalescence already up for Dogman here. Aether dropping low. It's Waifu once again started off. Gray has fallen. A 3-for-1 exchange. bi-week gonna deflect this attack once more.
And again, they just out-engage OpTic here. OpTic seems a little bit flummoxed by this quad tank setup, and you don't have the room in Horizon that you do on other maps to sort of outmaneuver it. And Keller, well, he got a lot charge of Reaper, not quite effective enough.
Yeah, 71% towards that death loss, but still, it's so difficult to try and connect with a good one up against this quad tank line because you do have all those defensive cooldowns that they can use, right? You've got the barriers from Zarya, you've got the defense matrix, and if it comes down to it, Aether can just go ahead and whole hog you away now. Sharp, once again, on the outside, on the right side, trying to find the proper target for this pulse bomb. He hasn't spotted it quite yet.
It's got to be Reinhardt. Reinhardt's Discord orb. He's moving right in. Might not even need it for him. No, he's going to go for a Dogman. Doesn't want to do it because of the fade getting him out of it. But there's a Graviton. Pulls in 3. Self-destruct by Vol, though. Going to give some needed cover. OpTic still in this fight. The self-destruct opening the way. Vol with the 3-piece here. And suddenly, OpTic Academy perhaps breaking through this 4-tank line. But you still have Roadhog at the point. Backed up by the Coalescence. And yet, Dogman's now finding himself all alone. His owners have been taken out.
Yeah, that Coalescence not doing much but keeping Aether alive there. No real damage coming across. They've even got the May, but the stall is not there. Minish doesn't get into the ice block, and with that, OpTic Academy will finish out the map, but with about 10 seconds, 9 seconds less time than bye week.
I'm actually really surprised when I look at the final times. I think it's just how grindy it feels, how soul-crushing it is to go against 4-tank, but if you had asked me off the top of my head what the time difference was before I looked at it, I would have thought that for sure there was like a 4-minute time difference in favor of bye week. But OpTic is able to keep this reasonably close here, so it could be anyone's game. I just think for them on the defense, you clearly have to expect the squad tank coming in early on.
Yeah, you need to find one tank to focus down and get rid of him. Sharp was focusing on Jamerson on that Reinhardt, but he needed more support because it can take a while to get through all of his HP along with, you know, getting through the defense matrix, getting through the barriers there. And of course, the Moira heal is just too strong. Now, OpTic Academy, once again on the offense, Keller might be starting it off already with this Reaper.
I think this is smart on the offensive end, where they are going to be offense because they have less time. You know what they're going to do. You know that bye week has had success with precisely one form of composition, and they're on the verge of winning this game with a slight time advantage. Yes, they're going to be coming in quad tank. Very obvious.
Look at this defensive hold now coming up from bye week. This might catch OpTic Academy off guard here, and this could be huge because they only have 1 minute and 15 seconds. If they get wiped, if they get caught surprised by bye week's composition, by their positioning here, that can really eat into that time. Now here they come. And
here's to your point. They're just waiting there. They're going to immediately drop down. 3, 2, 1. Here comes the bye week, dropping right on in. It's not quite as decisive as they'd like. Sharp, though, coming around the flank. They actually back out a bit. They show weakness. They show fear. And Minish is going to die as a result. They had an opportunity, but they don't go with it. And now OpTic Academy is punishing them. What could have been a great flank going up in flames as OpTic Academy now moving their way in. And now that you've lost members, this is where Reaper can just chew through you bit by bit.
Yeah, the quad tank is so much better when they have all 4 tanks alive. Every time one falls, and exponentially, your team gets weaker. And so, bye week, give up point A. OpTic Academy will have 30 seconds added on, and already they're pushing forward onto the point. Sharp is there along with Keller.
I just don't get that. Bye week looked into the eyes of their adversaries, and they blinked. That's given OpTic Academy the chance here. Now they have the Transcendence already built up. They're going to be able to use it to support Keller. Now they drop in the beat. They have that protection from the barrier. They're moving on in. Vol takes out 2 with the self-destruct, and now OpTic Academy, after an anemic attack last time on point B, might be making this 4-2.
Yeah, Waifu only getting the DMAC. 2 ticks already coming on in. OpTic Academy on the verge of cleaning up the map. They will, with time to spare.
Goodness me. Top 10 anime turnarounds there, where, again, this is going to be the 3rd time I'm saying this, but they had the right idea. They could have dropped right in, and then they backed out, and that just led to their Zarya dying, and it led to an unavoidable snowball because now you've given Reaper a man advantage. Now you've given them ult advantage because if you lose on 4-tank badly in the first comp, think about how much they've had to do to clear through all that tanky HP. You've supercharged them for point B.
It seemed like there was indecision on the side of bye week. Dell didn't really speed boost them on top of them, and that's what you want with the quad tank. You want to play it close. You want to allow Jamerson on the Reinhardt to be swinging because that's a lot of extra DPS coming through from that quad tank composition. But OpTic Academy, they caught it, and then all of a sudden, bye week, they're on the retreat. And that allows OpTic Academy to have all the grounds to be able to pick apart that quad tank composition.
One thing that's worth noting here is that even though Bye Week was able to get early pickoffs the first time around, is that there was a world where OpTic's defense worked out really well. Keller did build up a Riptire super quickly, but he just got focused down beforehand. If OpTic can play this a little bit further back, I think they had the right idea of dealing with the quad tank on point A the first time. They just failed at the execution.
Now, 1 minute and 24 seconds for Bye Week to complete out this map. They need to cap point A and B. This is going to be a difficult task of them speed boosting in from the left-hand side. It looks like they're going to make the left-hand approach total to get onto the point. Now they're just waiting for the speed boost, and as soon as it's up, they'll go for it.
Oh, for the nades for Bye Week was Buddy System. Aether pulled in front of the halt, hooked in, but wasn't really the target you want for an early pickoff. And Bye Week going to be moving here to the left, but Dogman gets picked off. Again, the most critical hero to pick off when you're dealing with quad tank, and Bye Week has his wave goodbye. You need to start rotating back, and oh no, Aether gets slapped. Is he going to be able to get out? The Bionade hits just in time. Are they going to finish off the kill? They do! He was so close to getting out, and yet so far. So many abilities came in to finish him off.
I'm surprised by the approach that Bye Week made on this attack, because on their first one from the first attack, they actually took the right-hand stairs to try and force OpTic Academy off from the high ground, and it worked out to great effect. Keller did get some damage off and built up his tire really quickly that way, but still, it worked out much better than this. They're making the same approach, and Sharp, once again, starts it all off by taking on a support.
Sharp is ruining supports right now, which now, they still have healing, but they don't have speed, and you're dealing with a whole bunch of slow takes. Sharp, how aggressive is this battle Widow right now? I get when you really want to shoot Moira, I guess. Risky though, as D.Va can go right into him. Under pressure here. So under pressure that he ends up falling. A little bit bloodthirsty with Sharp. And Bye Week have now with a bit of an opportunity as they do pick up 3. But it's in overtime and they need to cap this and then go to point B as well.
They'll get an additional 30 seconds if they can clean this up, and it looks like they will. Whole hog committed into this by Aether now, but Bye Week, because they're running this quad tank composition, it's so difficult to build up their ultimates. We'll have an Earth Shatter, we'll have that self-destruct, but Minish has now swapped off onto Doomfist. He wants that front-loaded damage to try and finish this all off. 25 seconds left for Bye Week just to tie this up.
I like the idea behind the Doomfist. I'm ready to be surprised, but I feel like this is more likely not going to run into a tire. This is just terrible comedy that could be happening here, because here's the tire. Doomfist is going to be more aggro, right? Where's Minish right now? He's going to be looking to jump on in, and oh, the tire gets killed! Shershoy, your buddy, taking it down. An excellent play there, ruining Keller's day, ruining my prediction, but Minish does die first, finds or Aid ends up finding him in the back, and even with the early tire pick, Bye Week unable to get a good initiation here as they're getting picked apart by OpTic all over the rafters, and that's going to be it. OpTic Academy avoiding disaster and winning the series 3-0.
All right, well, as you said, OpTic has now become the clear winner for this particular series today, but we do have one map left, so perhaps Bye Week can make a little bit of a comeback. And they did a little bit in round 1 there.
They did, and it's sort of interesting where I thought actually my original prediction was going to be wrong, which is that I said, look, expect OpTic to adapt to this. You can't run quad tank the entire time and win. Well, they came very close to saying that you could run quad tank the entire time and win, but we did see adaptations from OpTic. They did bring things back in the end, and it sort of showed that you can't necessarily rely on just one composition, at least one that's so off the fringe like quad tank to bring you through, even though it was surprisingly effective throughout most of the game.
Yeah.
Did you think that there could have been a change on Bye Week's comp to continue on that momentum that they had built up after that, holding that first point?
I mean, theoretically, yes, based on what they've shown us, if their skill in other compositions. I don't know. Their best chance might be just running quad tank until it doesn't work, because they looked much worse when they were trying to run different compositions on maps like Ilios, so I don't know. This could be their best shot.
Yeah, I mean, right there, they didn't have that much momentum in their second push, because as you run that quad tank composition, it is very difficult for those tanks to build up their ultimates, particularly Zarya. If she doesn't have enough charge, she's not going to be able to get her ultimate charge up, and so that's why we saw Minish swapping off. He wanted the front load damage from that Doomfist, but it wasn't able to do much at all, because as soon as that Riptire came out on that second point B defense, everyone just split up. And then from there, the quad tank, well, the triple tank lineup at that point, it loses so much potency when it's split up.
All right, well, speaking of tires, we have our fourth and final map of the evening. It is going to be Junkertown, and that is, again, a choice of Bye Week.
I'm a little confused here. I mean, actually not really. I think Dorado probably would have been the absolute worst choice for quad tank because of the verticality. You have a lot of bodies there that are not very mobile. Junkertown isn't necessarily a great option for this either. There's a lot of verticality to deal with the Junkertown, and I guess if you want to sort of cheese it out, you can run Pirate Ship, but it's not, either way, they're going to have to run something other than Quad Tank here.
Possibly. I would say, yeah, definitely Pirate Ship with a Bastion is a definite possibility here. It is, of course, a very easy composition to execute here. I mean, that's, I think, what we're going back to for bye week. They're not trying to outskill them. They're just trying to make their compositions easier to execute.
And that can only take you so far, as we saw on Horizon, although how far it could take you was, again, surprisingly close. Yeah. It was a well-executed quad tank setup, but you know, eventually, if you keep throwing a batter the same fastball over and over again, he's going to slam it home for a home run at some point.
So you guys have talked a lot about what you expect to see from bye week on this. What about OpTic?
Oh, they're absolutely going to be opening up with Widowmaker. I think Double Sniper will be the name of the game here. It'd probably be Sharp on the Widowmaker, Keller on the Hanzo, and there's no reason they wouldn't run it standard Junkertown.
All right, real quick, anything from you, Jamerson?
No, I absolutely agree. This is where I want to see Double Sniper coming out from OpTic Academy.
All right, let's see. Double Sniper, OpTic Academy. Is it going to happen? Here we go.
Junkertown, because Australia needed representation in the Overwatch scene. And they're just like, we will give you a junk pile. That's not fair, by the way. Sydney was very nice.
It was gorgeous.
But they're now throwing them into this dystopian wasteland.
Yeah, isn't it supposed to be like a nuclear wasteland also?
Yeah, Roadhog might have some diseases that we don't know about.
He is a one-man apocalypse, but now it's going to be bye week on the offense. Waifu. Never mind. Quad tank. It's quad tank.
Okay, it is quad tank. They are still running the quad tank. They're not even going, yeah, let's run a Bastion. Let's free it up a little bit. And OpTic Academy, meanwhile, they're not going to be running Double Sniper on defense, but they will have Sharp in the back of Widow here. And unlike Horizon, there's so much more room to outmaneuver a quad tank setup. So I'm curious to see how OpTic Academy plays on the fringes here.
Yeah, but here we saw, I believe it was Keller who was playing the Widowmaker beforehand, was coming up with some clutch shots onto the support line of bye week. Aether now is going for the flanking play, but he's been spotted out and instantly has to back away.
Aether's also been a very high point here for bye week.
Yeah.
They make big plays. It's usually off Aether flanking. It's almost watching Harblue resurrected in the modern era, but unfortunately, it's also not winning games. Also, similar to some efforts of Roadhog in the modern era. So, OpTic Academy right now playing the fringes, but they're not able to dislodge bye week from the payload. They lose Smurf early on, and even though the tire's coming in, it's not really enough. Bye week is just sort of forcing themselves through, and the Colossus comes out early to make that even more of a reality. You have a delay transcendence here, but I don't know if they have anyone nearby to make the most out of that.
It was enough to allow Aid to come in for that resurrection onto Keller. Shock dropped down low to 8 HP. There's the hammer. Shearshoy has been swinging this entire time. Sharp somehow threads the needle, gets the kill onto Dogman, but that's not going to be enough. Graviton Surge to finish off the last remaining members of OpTic Academy, and with that, bye week, just grind out this first point, and now they'll have 5 minutes to get to second.
All right, bye week, again, if you had called them the buddy system, it would have worked out well. It is everyone sticking there in quad tank, and so far it's been executed well. It's been giving OpTic Academy all sorts of fits as Sharp gets a face full of scrap. Aether continuing his flanking aggression where it just caught Sharp off guard.
I mean, in this quad tank composition, it is, of course, going to be Aether. Roadhog, is he a tank? Is he a DPS? Well, a little bit of both now already. Bye week, looking to challenge the defense as they have only one person pushing the payload along right now.
Meanwhile, Keller does say fire in the hole, Tire up here. Again, it's been a bad day for Tires. 1 kills or no kill all across the board. We'll see what this one ends up doing. And this time it's a bigger one. Picks down both supports and Sharp is there for the cleanup. So Tire finally getting a little bit of love here in this matchup. Will be forcing bye week to reset.
Nice stagger onto Waifu. So OpTic Academy, they've stabilized here on the defense. On first point, they were just slowly being walked down by bye week because you don't really want to send anyone to try and stop the progress of the payload, because once you do, that's when Shearshoy is able to just start swinging with his Reinhardt. That's why he's almost got a second second Earth Shatter now. But we have this defensive hold coming out from OpTic Academy. They're just peppering them down and finds the kill onto Dogman before they can even make their way in.
kill Dogman and push. That's what happens when the Moira player is out of the fight, and you see Bye-Week having the backup. And this is a unique challenge on Junkertown, right? And they both had the same issue with Dorado, is that they have to go through this vertical area. You can't just easily walk into the other team, and they're getting poked down. There's a lot of opportunities for them to lose players before they can get into their winning condition. And it's been a rough go for Bye-Week here so far, despite the early opening. But here comes Aether on the flank. He's caught out to a degree, but does have support, and they're trying to turn the tables on OpTic.
Yep, OpTic forced a little bit out of position here, but Aether now booped off the high ground. He does have a Tracer behind him, but the Coalescence is going to be used by Bye-Week. Dogman pressing forward with the rest of his tanks. Now, they still haven't been able to find a kill quite yet, though. Shearshoy has this Earth Shatter, looking for anything, but the composition is so mobile, he's not able to catch anyone on the ground.
Well, here's the key to the mobility, too, is that they're so mobile that they're picking people apart. They had to split up in that. They split it into part flanker, part on the front line, and Sharp just kind of rubbed his hands together. I was like, aha, I will murder everyone who is not part of the main group. So you can't stick together as one blob here like you can on other maps.
So still Bye-Week now making a different approach. Still going to try and take the high ground here. Slowly walk down OpTic Academy. OpTic Academy just hiding away. They don't need to take a big engagement right now. They need to find the pick, but that's not gonna.
Tire on the way in. They lose Sharp early on. The Tire still in play. Moving around and up. They found Keller while he was driving the Tire. And the Tire, I do believe, is out of play here. Did not quite get what he was looking for. 2 early pickoffs here for Bye-Week. So now they have a chance to bring this forward. Sure, one might have got hit by a self-destruct, but oh my goodness, Smurf bopping away in the Graviton. Finds Shearshoy. And it's still been a rough go for Bye-Week. It's more in their favor, but every inch is paid for in blood.
I don't want to see Shearshoy just go for Orisa instead if they want to stick with this quad tank composition now. Waifu was able to take out his counterpart for Sharp answers right on back. Finish is taken down. Max range hook comes out to allow them to finish off Sharp.
That's like the 3rd time Sharp has taken down Zarya with a bomb here. It's his favorite go-to target in this sea of beefy tanks that are moving their way on through. OpTic Academy, though, looking pretty darn drained here. And nice block out here from Waifu, getting in their face at the spawn. And while OpTic's able to come in and delay, their positioning is quite bad here. They lose Gray early on, and now Bye-Week looking pretty good, but they lose 2. It's Sharp and Smurf again. They got to the back line, and they're the ones that are, again, over and over, saving OpTic Academy in these situations.
Self-destruct just to try to get back into the mech. That buys enough time for Minish to get the kill onto Vol now, but still overwhelming numbers for the defense here as OpTic Academy push back Bye-Week. So now Bye-Week just short of second, are left with 45 seconds to try and get the second checkpoint. Oh, and that is not what you want to see. Gray with another great pick onto Minish.
Minish was fishing there, and sometimes when you're fishing, you come up with nada.
So now, Bye-Week regrouping. Minish, he is going to have that pulse bomb, but he needs to get set up, and that's not how you want to get set up with Dogman falling first. Great pulse bomb coming out from Sharp.
Sharp, and yeah, even though Smurf has gone down, that's a 1-for-1 you always take as OpTic, right? Again, you've killed the Moira, you have won the fight. That is a key weakness of this quad tank setup, is that Moira kills are the dream. Bye-Week now having the reset, and this is actually going to be really hard for them to get back to that point in time. Now it's going to be on the Diva. Move forward, 2 seconds, 1 second. Are they going to touch it? They will. Aether gets there just in time, but now I see Sharp over the top. OpTic can engage this from any way they want. They look to take down Waifu. He's saved at the last moment by the barrier, but still gonna get demeched. And now, Dogman has to coalesce here in a hurry, but they're still in a rough spot as Bye-Week now fighting for their lives here to get through second.
Yeah, now it is going to be a 5v4 in favor of Bye-Week here. This is the moment that they're looking for. They are finding these kills here. Primal Rage Winston just to try to get them off the point even for a second, because we are in overtime now, but it doesn't matter. The numbers are there. Bye-Week should be able to get second here as soon as Sharp falls.
They were able to take that despite the odds being against them, despite them having to move on in at a rough angle, despite Waifu getting demeched early on. So OpTic did not have their characteristic shot calling that time, and Bye-Week made them pay. Now we get into the final stretch of Junkertown, but they don't have much time.
They don't have much time, but they did force out an early transcendence from OpTic Gaming. Keller picks off Shearshoy with the help of Smurf now, and so they'll go onto the point to contest. Sharp finds that frag onto Aether now. Payload stopped just before the gates even close, and there they go.
We're down to the final minute here, and the problem is they also have to deal with the Tire. It's a rough gauntlet here for Bye-Week.
Yeah, very tight avenues just to even get onto the payload here. That Riptire could be deadly. Shearstroy has made his way onto the payload now. Pulse Bomb comes out, but the damage is mitigated.
The damage is mitigated. Sharp still working on the side, and no, he's going to get taken out. The combination of Hook plus another Tracer. Bye-Week now finding their second win. Earth Shatter down just for one target, but hey, when you got to be sure. Looking the DMEC full here, does that, swings the hammer, and goodbye. Bye-Week, their final last gasp here on Junkertown. They're starting to move the payload.
They are indeed, but they still have a long way to go. Hasn't made its way around the U-turn here. So OpTic Academy, they can go for a full reset. They've got aid with that Valkyrie Volt self-destruct ready too. Now if Smurf can get his Primal Rage, this could be a prime opportunity for them to go for a Primal Rage self-destruct.
I think that's exactly what they're going to be looking for here. First, you look at Bull, setting up for the self-destruct. Smurf gets the Primal Rage. Now look, he uses the Primal Rage immediately, but gets knocked back. Oh my goodness, a self-destruct from Waifu. The whole hog self-destruct combo catches OpTic off guard. Bye-Week, beautifully executed. Now moving their way forward, OpTic Academy has been caught off guard.
That was a beautiful setup coming out from Bye-Week. I mean, both teams had the same plan, self-destruct, and then use your displacements to get the big kills. It's a lot more reliable with the whole hog. Instead, Transcendence used by almost all their members out here now, but Shearstroy is so far away from the rest of this fight.
And right now, OpTic is just struggling to get back out. Respawns are coming in, though, but they've lost Keller, they've lost aid. Bye-Week in a dominant position, and Shearstroy can drop the hammer just to make sure. On the point, hammer down, knocks down 2. Bye-Week, so close, 0.42 meters away. You still have stall coming in from OpTic, but how long can they go? Overtime in progress, and that's going to be it. Bye-Week, with no time left on the clock, finishes out Junkertown.
Again, I just want to talk about how beautifully that was set up. Both teams, they had the exact same game plan. Use your displacement ultimates either on the Diva, or excuse me, either on the Winston or on the Roadhog and set up for that self-destruct. But, of course, with the Winston, your positioning is so important and how you bat people around. It's so much easier to set up with that whole hog, and that's how you got that triple kill.
I give way more credit to Bye-Week there in that situation, because how many times you see a whole hog set up a triple kill self-destruct? Hey, they might be running quad tank all the time to a degree, but at the very least, they're still making it very interesting when they do. And it has been giving OpTic quite a bit of trouble, even when OpTic has looked good at other points in the series.
So now it's going to be OpTic Academy on their offense. Bye-Week might change things up a bit here. Triple tank with Aether on the Mei.
I don't believe you. That's what I'm saying right now. Maybe they end up running this, but my point of view is, you know, people say I'm wearing the Rob Burgundy jacket to begin with. Give me a pen to click. I don't believe you. Yeah, that's
okay,
why I didn't believe you. Of course you're going to swap. Swap to what we know you're going to play.
We've seen some Mei on first points before. It's been on Reddit, right? If it's on Reddit, it works, right?
Don't debate us. we see through your game Bye-Week. It's fine.
But this is a quad tank here on first for Junkertown is a pretty good composition. You just have so many bodies that you can contest. But right now, it looks like they might be going for a solo support composition, which honestly they can go with because they are so close to their spawns. Gray currently sitting on that Bastion, and they've also got the double sniper. We saw this out of Fuel, I believe, in OWL.
The key here is that they need to kill Diva early on. If they can kill Diva, that's going to open up Grade to quite literally shred through these tanks, and in fact it could set up game-winning momentum that a quad tank setup won't be able to do anything about. But the key here for OpTic Gaming, kill the Diva. It's very simple. Do you kill the Batman? Kill the waifu.
Somebody kill Cool Man?
Please kill Cool Man, please.
All right, here we go. Double sniper along with the pirate ship composition, and Bye-Week just throw all their bodies at it. They have successfully taken out Gray, but they've lost Aether in the process.
There's worth and then there's not worth. That was not worth. It would have been worth if they got out with their lives, but Keller on point with the Hanzo here, laying in the damage, getting the key pickoffs, making Scatter work very well in the situation, and yep, as a result, you're going to be seeing a full reset here at a Bye-Week, and again, momentum coming out here from OpTic, although, no, Bastion's gone. They have dislodged the Bastion play. It's going to be Gray on Tracer, which you don't see very often.
By the way, Keller, 25 seconds for that first Dragon Strike now, and so he can use that. He's got the information. He's got the Dragon Strike ready. He's about to throw it out.
Oh no. So well set. I was like, oh! Dragon Strike eats 3! What a hungry dragon. Well sated. Actually, one of the best Dragon Strikes I've ever seen set up in a competitive game. Well done, Keller. Well done.
Well done, Keller, indeed. He set that up for himself. Well, I guess Bywee kind of helped there, just grouping up like that. Standing absolutely still now. And the snipers, they're moving up. Keller, he's already at 50% towards another one.
That is silly. The part where he got the perfect set, but B, the part where 3 people died to the dragon, unassisted by a grab or otherwise. Goodness me, as OpTic Academy gets really good positioning on second as a result.
Keller, with that scatter shot, already found the kill onto Dogman now. Sharp, the other sniper. The sharpshooter takes out Dell. And already with both supports down, this quad tank composition is going to fall to the wayside.
Yep, and when you get that early pickoff, it just goes from bad to worse. And it's not quite the pirate ship we thought would be happening here, and Gray's even making the tracer work, but the true shining star here has been the Hanzo play out of Keller, which has just completely baffled Bywee here so far.
Keller threw out a dragon, already 30% towards his next one. His scatter shots, I feel like he's 3 for 5 or 3 for 6 on getting a tank with it now. Gray on the lurk. He's at 80%. One clip, and he should be able to get this pulse bomb. He's almost got it out now. They're coming on out, but it's going to be Shearshoy to go down first.
Gray had perfect information going in there because of the recon sight, tearing through the tank backline. You can't have a better engage than that. And Bywee, they're getting outmaneuvered here at every turn. And I got news for you. This might be the hungriest dragon of all time. I think he's wanting to bulk up, get some gains, go to the hand gym because he's about to be at 100% once more.
Keller's about to average, I believe, 3 dragons per minute, possibly a dragon per minute. Oh, sharp. Dogman not having the greatest of series so far, especially up against this sniper composition. Now, already with Dogman falling, the tanks have to be careful, but Minish with his own swap-off has answered back.
He answers back with his own heals, but Shearshoy goes, where we're going, we don't need heals. Drops the hammer, moves on through, and that Earth Shatter begins what was set up by Minish, and Bywee finally gets a moment of reprieve.
Yeah, look to Keller to swap off here. He used that dragon. That was his dying breath there. And so Vol has swapped off himself now, going over to the Diva. Keller now going for the Genji. We're going for 2-2-2 dive now out of OpTic Academy.
OpTic Academy swapping things up. The era of Hanzo is over. The other Shimada is now my friend. But ooh, the engage, very rough. Grand Sharp taken down immediately by Bywee. They came in at the right angle, and it's just clean up here as Dogman channels the energy beam. Colossus's gonna finish it off.
Still, they have a lot of time to run out here from the clocks of OpTic Academy. 4 minutes left for them to complete out the map. If they do, we reset. Go to extra innings.
Bring back Hanzo.
It was successful.
He washes your hands before you go to the hand gym.
And Jim, yeah. Oh, great hook onto the Diva there. Vol still not demeched yet. Makes it out safely.
Keller, with the early pick, puts OpTic on the leading edge here. 2 early kills, now they move forward. Shearshoy, though, drops the hammer again. Gonna be knocking down about 3. If they have any way back into this fight, that would be it. And Shearshoy doing the work required here, makes it more of an even fight. OpTic looking positively scattered, but it's still sharp in the back, darting around. You have to deal with him or he will rip your team apart. Still moving around, still looking for the tank damage as we speak. Now, Shearshoy, his main target, gonna force him to flip around. And while this is going in, OpTic's gonna drop the beat, they drop the blade, and Keller moving in, cuts through Dogman and looking for more.
There it is, he does get more onto Waifu now. That will clean up the side of Bywee. Minish now swapping off onto the McCree. He wants a little bit more control on his side here, but still Bywee now, they do have the ultimate advantage. They've got the sound barrier for this next fight, along with possibly an Earth Shatter and the self-destruct from Waifu.
OpTic Academy looking for their way in. Early hook coming out here from Aether, not going to result in a kill just yet. Bywee looking to come out of that right flank as Sharp now, speaking of flanking, moving on the outside. Almost has a pulse bomb up, has support in his sights. 1 blink up, waiting for 2. Once he gets 2, he's going to move in. There's the Earth Shadow from Shearshoy, and now he's going back in to help his team, do damage to the tanks, drops the pulse bomb, and connects on Dell. But Shearshoy has set up Bywee really well, and OpTic is getting thrown back.
Yep, they have to reset once again. They got to cut their losses here. They're going to lose Smurf the tail end of that fight, and possibly even, yes, they will get the frag onto Aid with Minish's flashbang helping out with that now. 2 minutes left on the clock for OpTic Academy, but they've got a great way to finish this off. Keller with the blade, Gray with the Transcendence. Let's see if he can cut through the barrier of Dell.
OpTic has had a rough go here after starting the fight with incredible Hanzo play. They've been stalled out here on third, and Keller was the hero on Hanzo. Let's see if he can channel the other dragon. Only a Shimada may control the dragon, so Keller, let's see what you got here with the Dragon Blade. Looking for the opportunity. Self-destruct to lead the way. This is where you pull out the blade to get the stragglers. They got Reinhardt. They're looking for more. He ends up getting flashbangs, but it's Sharp who does the heavy lifting, and the blade stays sheathed.
Yeah, Sharp was there the entire time. Here it is, the blade. Only 3 members remaining for bye week here. Dogman finally answers back with the frag onto Gray, but doesn't matter. As the rest of his team starts dying, it's all down to the Diva. Waifu to try and stall this out, but now the payload toward the end. We've got the Deadeye coming out, but he's got everyone in his face. Vol just focuses him down.
That was so good by Vol, getting in McCree's face, stopping the Deadeye from doing damage in that case, saving your flanker on the backside, keeping your team healthy. Bye week now running out of options as OpTic Academy gonna clean up the last few people on the point, and they end up with about a minute of advantage on the time bank, but we are going to extra rounds.
We are going extra rounds, and most importantly, with the way that bye week played that first point, look to them to make a lot of progress on first, because they were able to just walk that payload forward. OpTic didn't want anything to do with that quad tank setup.
And this has been the story of the series in a sense of OpTic versus quad tank. And bye week, again, to their credit, they have had some moments that have done really well. I think, truth be told, the true heart of this team has been Aether when he's been on Roadhog, both at setting up, say, self-destructs, getting good flanking ults and otherwise. It's been sort of him and Waifu carrying a lot of the whole, but even Shirsho has had moments where he's had good earth showers and otherwise. The problem is you're still dealing with a composition that's not all that mobile and can be played around to a degree, especially on a map like Junkertown.
OpTic for their second defense, they're going to opt just for the dive. Just traditional 2-2-2 with Genji and the Tracer, why not? Keller looking pretty fresh on it right now, and Sharp, I mean, he's just been doing an amazing job all series long.
Well, we do have a bit of a change up here for bye week, where they might be coming out with the Pirate Ship comp. Not actually going with quad tank here early on, and they're putting their hopes and dreams with the man who runs with the dogs, Dogman himself, or they're debating us once more, which has been their move.
Yeah, copying the composition that OpTic used on their offense now, so double sniper along with Dogman, flexing over to that, and why not? He was a hit scan main in the past before, so we'll see if OpTic have the tools to try and shut it down. They dive on in. Will Dogman fall? He does. Vol takes him out. There's a second kill onto Dell. They've only answered back onto Gray, and so OpTic will clean up the forces of bye week.
Well, much like when OpTic tried to run the Bastion, here the Bastion gets taken down immediately. Target number 1, and Dogman has had enough already, moving to the Zenyatta, perhaps his most well-known hero. But OpTic, remember, they don't have to buy their time, only 25 seconds remaining.
Only 25 seconds remaining. Aether trying to find anything with this Hanzo. He hasn't had the same luck with the scatter shots as they did on the opposite end for OpTic Academy now. 12 seconds left and 8 balls. So now this is the moment bye week needed. Aether not able to connect. He's getting 1v1 by the Ana. He gets taken out.
And now OpTic coming right back on the other side. You did have some Hanzo picks, but look at Sharp. 25 HP, take it down. That was huge. Finish off the flank. Find Sharp, gets Gray. McCree, it might not be high noon, but he's trying right now. Tick-tock. Volvo dives on in, takes down 2. Keller with the blade, bringing it right back, slicing through the opposition. Gets Mercy hiding around the corner, and OpTic might be stopping this payload right here in the moment. You have a few respawns coming in, but now OpTic at full strength. They lose Vol, but Vol actually strikes back his baby Diva. Overtime ticking down, and yes, that's going to be OpTic holding here before first.
I am astounded. I don't know what happened to Waifu there. There was no reason for him to get demeched. If he could have stayed in his mech for that hold, it would have been huge for them. He had his Mercy along with his Zenyatta there. I understand why the Zen was pocketing the Mercy, but it's so much more important at that point. Make sure that Waifu stays inside his mech. You need that body there. So without receiving the pocket from both the Zen and the Mercy, they're able to just get picked apart by OpTic Academy.
And now the problem here is that for bye week, because they didn't get the payload very far, they now have to defend this very short distance for a very long period of time, in 1 minute and 51 seconds. OpTic working with a lot more overall time in this scenario, and that's bad news for bye week if they want to at least add a map to their total. So they're going to have to be nearly perfect here in this defense, but that means they're going to have to survive the second coming of Keller, otherwise known as Hanzo God from the first 2 points before.
There was a stark contrast in the performance between Keller and Aether. Aether now are already on the Genji, so we'll have the brotherly duels here. It doesn't look like OpTic Academy are going to opt for the Bastion as they had with Gray on their first attack. Why not just go ahead and use that Discord or let Keller carry the team?
Let Hanzo carry. I'm not sure Hanzo's the type of guy who carries normally, but he can shoot arrows at people, and that's good. Oh no, he swapped! How dare you!
Okay, interesting. It looks like they might have had a read on bye week here, so they want to go for dive versus dive, although they still have Shearshoy on the Reinhardt.
Shearshoy can stand the Reinhardt and Keller right now. It kind of makes sense. With a minute 50, he does have enough time to build up a blade here, and usually that's a higher impact than Dragon Strike, so that might be what they're looking for. A little bit of wall climb failure, but the double team between Keller and Sharp does work out. They find Minish. They're evicting bye week from the top, and now bye week in full retreat, and they don't have much room to retreat.
They do not at all. They're stepping backwards, and Shearshoy is just stuck in a corner here. It's Dell to try and protect the Reinhardt, who ultimately does fall now. 2 members going on down, and we're just meters away from OpTic walking away with a 4-0.
Bye week, they have to get someone on the point, but everyone's getting taken down by Sharp on the flank. It's up to Waifu, immediately evicted, and the payload just casually moving forward the victory. And that's going to be it. OpTic Academy finishing the 4-0 sweep.
All right, guys, that is the end of it for today. That was some bye week made a showing. I feel like in 3 of those, or 2 of those 4 maps, they at least made a showing. So do you think that we'll at least see something from them, and maybe when they're not matched up against someone who's so like high tier as OpTic?
I think they could do well. I mean, against teams that are less prepared against Quad Tank. The problem is that they've kind of set a ceiling on their performance here, unless they come up with new styles, right? Where you can beat a team that's less coordinated, for sure, but if you want to win contenders, they need to refine something else, period.
Absolutely. We do have a replay up. This is Keller on Hanzo and Genji.
Yeah, this was just the beautiful setup. You have the Sonic era coming on out, and he's just praying that they all group up, and they do. This is just beautiful setup by Keller.
Never will we see it's like again, and I've been casting Overwatch for a long time, over 2 years since the beginning, and I can count on one hand the amount of unassisted Dragon Strikes I have seen like that. That is insane.
And then also we got to see his Genji coming out here, and that just helped clean them up at the end of this. I mean, it all did start off also on their offense. On their offense when they got that first pick off onto Aether, who was that Tracer just caught out between everybody.
It seems like bye week opens really strong, and then they don't really have any staying power. Is there any specific weak link in it that you're seeing?
Well, I think part of it is just sort of the nature of Quad Tank, right? Where it's very good in the beginning, because you're going on early points where you can sort of collapse on closed-in areas. But the second part is that you think about how ultimates are built up, you're going to get coalescence up before anything else. So you do have this very brief window in the beginning of the game where you get this quick ult timing when you run Quad Tank, but then the other team catches up, they start building up ults off your big bodies, and then it starts to go downhill.
Yeah, and we also get to see the fragility of the Quad Tank lineup, which is, well, the more squishier members of that Quad Tank, which is the support line. And when you're Keller and you're Sharp and you're landing your sniper shots, your Widowmaker and your Hanzo shots onto Dogman or Dell repeatedly, that Quad Tank just falls apart once you don't have the support.
Well, speaking of Sharp, Sharp is our Old Spice player of the match. So congratulations to you, Sharp.
Yeah, I mean, Sharp, he showed up time and again on every single map. I mean, here we see his Tracer play. This was the guy who just shut them down on Numbani. Every time that bye week tried to go for the dive, he was there in the back line making sure that the supports were going to die.
Yeah, it's not even what we see here in this moment. It's what he was doing in the shadows over and over again in the lead up to it, where Sharp is very good at being a disruption, and there are multiple moments there where he would one-clip an enemy Zenyatta, one-clip an enemy Tracer, and that's the sort of consistency that you just simply don't see from most of the Tracers that play the game. So for Sharp, it was a just great beginning for him.